On your weight loss journey, you're going to experience ups and downs. It's like the stock market. It can't go down every single day, nor could it go up every single day. There's going to be times when it's good and times when it's bad. But what Brently was doing was self-sabotaging his weight loss. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going over Brently's new diet plan. Brently had made a video saying he'd gotten to a plateau, he was struggling, his metabolism, he felt it was a lot lower. He didn't know what he was doing, but I watched the video, I reached out to him, and we've been talking back and forth, and so we've now developed a brand new plan.
I've been walking around a lot more, getting it out around 2 kilometers a day.
And so the first thing he's doing is he's walking 2 kilometers every single day, and for him, that is zone 2 cardio. He's not walking fast, but remember, he weighs 456 pounds, and so carrying around that much weight, it's very difficult for him. And the total calories he's burning during this 2 kilometer walk, it's about 370 calories. At first, he was trying to go for runs, but he was losing his breath. He couldn't hold on. It was too difficult. He literally wanted to carry around a chair so that he could go for a run and then rest in the chair and take turns doing that. But what that would be is HIIT cardio, something that I don't think is a smart investment in your time because it's very difficult to recover from. If he was an elite athlete, perhaps running marathons or triathlons or something to that extent, he could of course add in HIIT cardio. But at 456 pounds, doing HIIT cardio, it's going to place extra strain on the joints, and so I simply did not recommend it. Zone 2 cardio, it's at a slow enough pace that you can maintain it. You can see in this video, he's talking throughout, and so that is a very good pace to maintain. And in order to progressive overload, he could of course walk a little bit faster, or he could choose to walk further. Rather than walking 2 kilometers, perhaps in a week or two, he can go 2.1, maybe even 2.5 kilometers. The further he walks, the more calories he's going to burn. And as he continues to lose weight, he's going to burn fewer calories in the same distance. Imagine he goes from 456 pounds to his goal weight of 220. He's clearly going to have to walk much further to burn the same number of calories. So as he loses weight, in order to keep burning the same number of calories, he simply needs to walk further. Increase the duration of time that he's walking or walk faster in order to burn the same number of calories. And because he's heavy, he's not walking at a very fast pace. He's not walking 3 and 4 miles an hour. And so this 2 kilometer walk might take him up to 30 minutes. However, if he continues to exercise, he continues to go for walks, he's going to become more fit. He becomes a better butter burner. He can burn off more calories in less length of time. And so instead of taking 30 minutes, it might take him only 20. But rather than reducing the time to 20 minutes, I would suggest he continues to walk for 30 minutes or perhaps walk a little longer. The further he walks, the longer time he spends in zone 2 cardio, the more weight loss he's going to see, the more benefits he's going to get.
I was plateaued for a while. I was stuck, and I've gotten to a point where it's really seeming like it's good again.
And so he was struggling with his weight loss. He was losing some weight, getting excited. For example, he lost 10 pounds in a matter of a few days, but then his weight began to go up. But remember, on your weight loss journey, you're going to experience ups and downs. It's like the stock market. It can't go down every single day, nor could it go up every single day. There's going to be times when it's good and times when it's bad. But what Brently was doing was self-sabotaging his weight loss. He was not being proactive. He was doing things that made it very difficult to stay on his diet.
I'm going by myself mostly. Jeffrey and I don't hang out every day. We do hang out like 2 or 3 times a week.
And so it's important to remember, you can't rely on a training partner. Perhaps your training partner gets sick or doesn't want to go. You have to have it within you, that intrinsic motivation to go out and do it on your own. And so please do the cardio daily if at all possible. If you break that habit, sometimes it's very difficult to get started back. People say, oh, I'll take the weekend off, or I'll stop during vacation. I'll do it back when I get home. I'll start on Monday. No, start now. Don't wait till Monday. Do it now. You need to create these positive habits in order to continue on your weight loss journey.
You know, I talked about intermittent fasting in an earlier video a few weeks ago, and I decided not to do that anymore.
And so for breakfast, his first meal, he switched from eating it at 12 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I felt it was more important to get in the calories a little bit sooner. Although I prefer for him to eat breakfast before doing cardio or lifting weights, he wants to do fasted cardio exercise in the morning and then consume breakfast. There are several different ways to diet, and at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. And his first meal is 2 egg sandwiches. And remember, he states he puts on mayonnaise, and these are whole eggs. And although whole eggs aren't bad for you, they do contain extra fat. Mayonnaise, I can't think of any benefit to having mayonnaise other than making the sandwich taste better. My recommendation would be to switch to light mayo. Light mayo has clearly a lot less fat and lower calories, and therefore it's going to create a greater deficit. He says the sandwiches have about 300 to 400 calories depending on the bread he uses. My recommendation would be to use the breads that are lower in calories and to save some calories on the mayo. If you can save 100 calories per day by switching to light mayo and changing the style of bread that you're using, then why not go for it? To me, that's almost like having free calories, like switching from regular pop to diet pop. You're going to save 150 calories per can. Why not go for it? You still get to drink the drink, and so why not save on those calories? Perhaps you can eat them later as a snack or simply speed up the weight loss journey.
Salt and pepper don't have any calories. Salt makes you retain fluid. That's a bit of weight gain, but it's worth it. You know, you need to have some salt in your diet.
And don't worry about your salt or sodium intake unless you have some form of cardiovascular issues, blood pressure, and so on. You do in fact need some salt in your diet to be healthy. And if you're doing a lot of cardio like Brently, going for walks, lifting weights, you're going to sweat a lot of the sodium out. And so having some sodium, salt in your diet, to me, not going to be a problem. Does it in fact cause water retention? Well, yes, but being hydrated is more important than losing all the water in your body through sodium manipulation.
I'm still doing intermittent fasting, but I'm not doing an extreme version of it as I was, you know?
He thought it was the best way, but he thought there were other ways. Now he realizes it's if you're in a deficit that decides if you lose weight. And so whether or not you're intermittent fasting or not to do that, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
He knows it doesn't matter. And now Brently realized this as well.
I wake up, I do my workout, then I have the egg sandwiches at 10. Then I'll have lunch at 1, and I am adding the third meal back in.
And so rather than eating in a smaller window, he eats in a much larger window. He still practices an extent intermittent fasting, of which I don't think is the best way. But remember, he's doing what he feels works for him. But previously, intermittent fasting, he had reached a plateau. His weight was going up and down. It wasn't working for him. And so why not change it? The definition of insanity could be, in fact, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And so why would he continue to intermittent fast if it wasn't working? And so he's made the changes. We've talked about this. And so I do think it's going to be a lot better.
Because I feel like I'm more consistent. Like I nailed down the thing that was causing it, I think.
And he reflected on what his problems were. As I said, if you're not losing weight, it's clearly because you're consuming too many calories. You might think you're eating 2,500 calories a day, but are you really? And so Brently really looked at things and said, I know what's going on. I have, in fact, cheated on my diet. I didn't think I was, but listen to what has happened.
And then they would ask me to take them to a place like that where there's food, and then I'd be like, well, I can afford to make a little mistake today.
And so think of it. If you're 456 pounds on a diet and your friends say, hey, can you drive me tonight to go and get some fast food? And you say, sure, I'll do you a favor. Let's drive out to McDonald's. And you watch them buying a Big Mac and fries and a Coke. How easy it then for you to say, hey, I'll have some of your food. Sure, I'll have a bite of that, or even buy some of your own. You're smelling the food. You're around that environment. And so much more difficult to stay on a diet when people are eating junk food all around you. It'd be analogous to quitting smoking and hanging around with your friends who are doing vapes, smoking cigarettes, and so on. How hard is it? How much motivation, willpower do you need to say no when it's right in your face?
And I helped nail that down by adding apples into my diet.
And so I described in my last video, when you're only eating 2 meals a day and when you're starving yourself through intermittent fasting or not eating enough calories, you have more ghrelin, a hunger hormone. It literally makes you feel hungry. And so the less you eat, the more ghrelin you're going to have, and the more you're going to want to eat. And so you might think, oh, I'll fast all day and I'll eat a big meal at night. But when you get to that meal, you're even hungrier than last time, and you can't put the fork down. You're simply that hungry. And so instead of fasting all the time, when he's hungry, he grabs an apple. And remember what I preach, low-calorie dense foods. Fruits and vegetables are very low in calories in comparison to how much you get out of it.
I realized apples have 59 calories in them.
And so in my cookbook 3.0, as well as my others, I literally have fruit servings reference table. The fruits are in order from lowest calories to highest. And so if you look at the apple, it's higher up on the list. 190 grams has only 100 calories. It also states it has 5 grams of fiber. So whatever fruit you want or vegetable, you can look at the charts in my cookbook. You'll see immediately, wow, this is a great choice. And so for example, example, if he switched out from apples to strawberries, it's near the top of the list. 300 grams only has 100 calories and has 7 grams of fiber. And so strawberries, an even better choice than apples. And so if he were to eat more strawberries, he would feel more full for longer due to the fiber and the lower calorie content. Remember, it's calories in, calories out. And so anytime you're hungry, if you were to eat strawberries, you're going to be more full. You're going to be less likely to binge. And so if you do in fact go for a ride with your friends, go to a fast food restaurant, and you simply just finished eating 2 pounds of strawberries or perhaps 3 apples, you're going to be a lot less hungry, a lot less likely to cave. It's about being proactive. The reason people struggle so much to lose weight is because they don't know and have the tools and skills to know what to do to make the right choices. It took me decades to learn this. It's in my frigging cookbook, as well as my Circle diet book, my life's work, how to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. If you read these books, you'll know what to do. I've made it very, very simple. And so when I see people struggling to lose weight, it really hurts me because I know it's not that difficult. It seems difficult, but only because they don't know what I know. If I could train bodies with other people and I simply applied what I'm doing for myself, everyone could lose weight. Not saying everyone could get to single-digit body fat. Some people have a harder time lose weight than others. But I know that everyone can in fact do it. Everyone can be a better version of themselves. Everyone can lose weight. Can you do better today than yesterday? Better tomorrow than today? Well, if you don't have the tools, how would you know what to do? But if you had my cookbook, my Circle diet book, and read it, you would know exactly what to do to implement right now, today, in order to get on your weight loss journey.
He mentioned in the video that my aunt or my grandmother usually cooks me supper. They're not big eaters, but I've been around, kicking around them, since my obesity days.
Not saying his aunt doesn't prepare great meals. It's just he was eating too much of it. And so what is he now doing? He didn't quit eating those meals. He's eating half the portion size. And so by eating half the portion, he's getting in half the calories. And yeah, it's going to cause him to be in a greater calorie deficit, be hungrier. But remember, he's eating more apples. He's spreading out his meals throughout the day. And so he has less ghrelin.
That's been good for me too, because I've got this whole thing of it gets stuck in my esophagus. Like, it doesn't go all the way down.
And also remember, because he's so heavy, he has a hard time eating very large meals. When he's eating those 1,200 calorie meals, of which I certainly think that's a guess. I don't think he knows it's actually 1,200. Perhaps it's 2,000. We just don't know. He doesn't watch or prepare everything. There might be a lot of oils, butters, things that are in there that he just doesn't account for. But he's noticing it's very difficult to eat these larger portions. It's getting stuck in his esophagus. And so by eating smaller portions, it's clearly working better for him. Now, because the portion is half in size and he eats at 6 and stops eating at that time and then fasts till the next day, I do believe he might get in trouble with binge eating at night if he experiences immense hunger and doesn't eat anything. As a rule, I eat nothing after 6. I do believe that could create a problem. If you're starving, you should have a snack. And of course, he could continue to eat the apples. He could have vegetables. But what I do personally is I eat popcorn. Last night, my 3 bags of Smart Pop popcorn, if you look on the bag and do all the math, it's going to have about 240 calories, but not all the kernels pop. And so I rounded out to about 200 calories each. And so imagine you're starving at night. You could eat anything, a 12-inch pizza, perhaps 2,000 calories, 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 calories. Instead of that, you have 3 bags of popcorn, 600 calories, and it could take you 45 minutes to eat. You watch a movie, you're snacking on popcorn, it prevents you from eating things that are much higher in calories. It's all about calories in, calories out.
It's been helping me lose the weight, and I've been making these great adjustments.
And so some people have stated, why don't you just eat 1,000 calories a day? You'll definitely lose weight. Well, we don't want them to lose the majority of it being muscle. Of course you can starve yourself, and of course you'll lose weight quicker. But he's done this in the past. He quite literally lost about 180 pounds in a year, gained it all back, and then some, was starving, was passing out. And so I don't recommend people to lose weight at that quick of a rate. It has to be something that you can sustain for the rest of your life. He needs to focus on strength training. Excess cardio and reducing his calories to an unrealistic amount is not going to set him up for success. Shouldn't he be just focusing on building muscle until his metabolic needs increase? At that point, he can start cutting calories again. Why isn't this the message that gets pushed? Well, because I don't think that that is the smartest message. If you had to choose one method, lifting weights or doing cardio to help someone lose weight, I choose cardio every single time. Do you really think that Brently doesn't have enough muscle on his body? The guy weighs over 450 pounds. Think of how strong he is. Look at the size of the guy's calves. And when he does in fact do cardio, that is like us lifting weights. If you're 200 pounds, imagine piggybacking someone 250 pounds and going for a 2-mile walk. Do you know how much strain that is on your muscles? How much your quads will have to work, your calves, your upper body, everything? And lifting weights burns far fewer calories than doing cardio. If he was in the gym doing bench presses, bicep curls, shoulder presses, and so on, he's not going to burn nearly as many calories as he does going for a slow walk. And so if he just waits until he puts on a ton of muscle before doing cardio, it could be years before he makes any significant difference. If he added 10 pounds of muscle at rest, that would boost his metabolism by 80 calories a day. Do you really think 80 calorie boost is the kind of boost that this guy needs? But if he does weights and cardio, those extra 10 pounds of muscle he has, he can put them to good use by walking faster than last time, burning even more calories. And so the answer is not to do one or the other, it's to do both. But if you're choosing one, start with cardio. It's interesting that he said his maintenance was 5,200 and that he went into a 1,000 calorie deficit eating 3,000 calories per day. That's nearly 2,000 per day. And this is true, but remember, when you go on a diet, sometimes your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, it goes down. And so you might think you're in a 2,000 calorie deficit, but you're actually only in 1,000 because although you're doing cardio for the rest of the day, you might be just sitting around. You're fidgeting less, moving less, you have less energy. Also, that 5,200 calories, that was a guess made by a computer program. It's like when you type in your stats, I've done a video on this in the past, it guesses how many calories you're burning. And so it guessed that he needed 5,200 calories to maintain his weight. Was it right? Was it wrong? We don't know. That's why if you use a calorie counter and you're not losing weight, it's not because calories in, calories out don't work. It's because you don't know how much calories you're actually burning. And most people have no clue how much they're actually eating. When he stated he was eating 3,000, perhaps he's eating 4,000. Perhaps his aunt's meal had 1,000 extra calories than he thought. He just did not realize it. Agreed. If his mom or aunt make his food, how does he even know that he is in a deficit? Dude needs to track his food and quit procrastinating his weight loss. Hope he listens to Greg. And so as you can see, he is in fact listening to me. He's made the appropriate changes needed to get him well on his way to losing weight yet again. It amazes me how much easier it is for some people to overeat and how much more difficult it is to lose weight compared to others. I can't imagine gaining as much weight as Brently. If I eat a little more than my normal portion, I feel like I'm dying. And I do believe this statement is very important to make. People don't understand why some people gain so much weight, but we are not all created equal. Some people have way more ghrelin than others. Some people have way more fat cells. And so if you're born with a genetic disadvantage that you just want to eat all the time, you're always hungry, it is very easy for you to gain weight. And it doesn't take thousands of extra calories a day. If you only eat 500 calories a day more than you're supposed to, you'll put on 52 pounds of fat in a year. That's a lot. 500 calories. You might not even notice it. That might be in the butter, the mayonnaise, the condiments that you're putting on your meals. You didn't even realize it. And so when Brently's trying to lose weight, he's hungrier than you. When Brently's 450 pounds, he's likely as hungry as somebody who's 250 pounds. And so some people could try to gain weight, try to gain 100 pounds. They could if they ate in a surplus long enough, but for the most part, most people, their bodies simply wouldn't release the ghrelin. They would have too much leptin and they would not feel comfortable eating. I once tried to gain as much weight as possible to break the world record in the bench press. I was force-feeding, eating junk food, eating at all hours of the day. I felt sick, miserable. I was never hungry. And so even if someone paid me $1 billion and said, Coach Greg, if you could get up to 400 pounds, we will give you $100 billion. We will solve world's hunger. You will cure all forms of cancer. I could not do it. I could if I could eat enough food, but I couldn't do it. I tried. I ate as much as possible and I couldn't get over 232 pounds in the morning. 236 pounds was the heaviest weight I got on the scale. I simply couldn't go any higher. And remember, I was on performance enhancing drugs and I was trying to get bigger, to put on as much muscle and fat as possible. And so if you're struggling to lose weight, it's most likely not all of your fault. It's 50% genetic and 50% environmental influences. 50% is how you're born. Do you have a lot of fat cells? Do you have more ghrelin? Are you always hungry? But the environmental decisions you make, for example, if you drive your friends to McDonald's or if you're eating your aunt's food and there's a lot of calories, those are choices that you make. You can make the changes. You can do it if you just want it bad enough.
You got to stay in a calorie deficit because he said that's the only way. That's him. That's Greg saying that's the only way.
He has to stay under whatever his daily expenditure is. Whether it's $2,600, $3,800, $5,200, $1,900, whatever that is, he has to be under that in order to lose weight. He realizes this. It's going to be different every single day. It depends on what you're eating, your activity level, and so on. But if you're not losing weight, take ownership and just admit you are not burning off more calories than you're eating. Remember, in this world, it's not Bart K's universe, calories in, calories out. You can say carbon in, carbon out, because when you eat food, the carbon molecules get stored as body fat, and when you burn off fat, you breathe out this carbon dioxide. That's how you lose weight. How you store weight, you eat too many calories, the carbon molecules get stored as body fat, etc. And then when you lose the weight, you breathe this shit out, literally. Remember when you run, you get tired, you're breathing harder, you perhaps can't talk if you're sprinting? That's from you burning off a lot of fat. When you're sitting at the house watching Netflix and breathing softly, you're not burning many calories. Notice when you're sleeping, you're still breathing. You're burning fat when you sleep. But when you're awake, running around, doing your thing, you're burning off extra calories. This is how it works in the real world.
Yeah, so that's been what's going on with me, and I'll update you next time again once I get down into the 440s.
And so he's making progress again. It's working. He's going to give us his next update, tell you how he's making out. And don't forget the #1 supplement to help with weight loss, improve your cardio, give you more energy, GO2 Max. And remember, there's no stimulants. It's not going to affect your sleep. There's no known negative side effects. Nothing bad. Can't get it on Amazon, but you can get it on my website. Click the link in the description, code Greg, 10% off. And it's not just for couch potatoes, it's for elite athletes as well. Like the video if you in fact liked it, and don't forget to subscribe and click that bell button, and of course watch one of the tube loops. And to get the cookbooks, the training books, the Circle diet book, the coaching plans by me and my team, all this stuff, including the Harder Than Last Time clothing line, not just tank tops, hoodies, jogging pants, shorts, t-shirts, and so on, please head over to my website and remember, code Greg, 10% off. Got no money, it's okay. Free diet and training program. Head over to the website, look for that. First name, last name, email address coming right to you. And until next time, I am out.